Great, thank you very much. And thank you everybody for joining us today. As mentioned, today we're going to go through how automation and AI enhances the usability of Sitefinity DXP, and DXP meaning Digital Experience Cloud, as we talk about those things in more depth through the next 30 minutes or so. Of course, today we're really gathered as World Usability Day comes to light. We're really focusing on that artificial intelligence. We want to take you through some examples, again, of how the Digital Experience Cloud Sitefinity can automate, use machine learning, and enhance the usability of our solutions and yours together. So we'll be going through some page and content creation things, looking at the behind the scenes automation, user journey tracking, and extensions and integration. So how you can even build on top of the platform to meet your own extensibility needs as well. So page and content creation simplified through the use of automation. So within Sitefinity, we have a very easy to use interface. So you're going to drag and drop things like widgets and layouts onto a page. The part that gets automated through the system is the rendering on the front end. So it's rendering well in all sorts of browsers. It's not even limited to just that. You can actually expose all this information in a numerous amount of ways through Sitefinity APIs and other extensions to the system. So again, we're going to focus on how the system automates your everyday life cycles and processes and makes them easier. We understand fully that when we're creating and utilizing content within something like a content management system or digital experience cloud, that you're not often writing or creating that content directly in the platform. You might be able to, and we absolutely encourage it when possible, but we find that a lot of our customers are interacting with things like Word, PDFs, the gamut goes on. Sitefinity has a number of tools that automates the removal of the things that don't belong in things like HTML, web content, but it's going to keep the things that really do belong. So in this particular example that we have here, we've copied and pasted our Word document on the left. In fact, you can even see in this second paragraph, we have fully uppercased all of the content. The CMS even removes those casing issues where needed. Again, remove the colors, the styles, but kept the things that were important. This is an H1 that was created in Word, and also an H1 as far as the content management system is concerned. So lots of great automated features that will help maintain your site, your usability, and your performance. We're going to auto-populate fields in content. So one of the great parts about Sitefinity is that we understand that associations have high needs for SEO, for social sharing of content. With Sitefinity, you're going to have the ability to add fields like Open Graph Title. It's going to then auto-populate from the title of content. We can, of course, go and manipulate that on our own using our marketing brain. So we're not going to fully rely maybe on the computer itself, but we can, again, improve our performance and our everyday work life cycle by having some of these components automatically populate. So here again, in this example, we've taken the content from the body of this particular news article, and we've added it in like the open graph description. And in this case, on the top line here, the title for that particular item was again retrieved from the title. Same thing would happen for your SEO fields, your search engine optimization fields. So that'll be title and description automatically populated. We're just highlighting these two particular ones. Content, page, scheduling. So, as you work through your content, whether it's promotional content, marketing materials, maybe it's alert about business impact happening. Of course, as much as we don't want to focus on the fact of the pandemics that we're in, scheduling content will greatly reduce, the need of, I forgot to unpublish that particular alert on a page. You can set them for particular periods of time to be up all the way down to the minute level. Also works with custom items you might build in the system, and we'll dive into those automated features in a little while. But again, publishing content, we often use them with slider graphics on home pages. Again, banner alerts, these types of operations, or as I like to call it, get ahead of the content. Maybe I want to leave at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon, but I need a news article to be present at 9 a.m. on Monday. Let's go ahead and schedule that off, and maybe I can shoot out of the office a little bit early. Don't tell my boss. As we go on to the next step of the operations of artificial intelligence needs of a particular platform is we're going to also produce things like your sitemap. But we're going to give you an easy to automate step in this, where as you create the content within the system, you're going to be able to just check a simple box. Should it be applied into the sitemap or not? In fact, we will automatically produce the sitemap and submit it to the two most popular, Google and Bing, search engines automatically. And again, this is all via control through the digital experience platform or the content management system. As we dive even deeper into the simplifying tasks that we bring to the table here, Sitefinity takes things that are complex and automates them behind the scenes. So we've really been focusing on that a lot. We're going to dive even deeper into that and looking at some other components like validating and requiring fields. So things like those SEO fields and content really need to be validated. Are they required? Does your business need this to be successful? So something like maybe a summary you might require. You can do this on the out-of-the-box items that come with the system, but you can also do it through components that you build on your own. All of this, again, with a simple-to-use, easy interface. So we can require fields, instructional text, maybe even predefining values. Many types of fields can be used and automated throughout the system. So in this case, here we're showing off these bottom two fields we talked about previously, our search engine optimization and our social media fields. These are, again, automated against summary or content fields so that you automatically get data populated. And again, but we're still leaving the control to you as the industry experts to be able to maintain that information on your own. You can even go as far as to setting limitations. So, maybe for the open graph description, I think the industry recommendation is less than 255 characters. So maybe you want to set some type of restriction around content. The beautiful part about the platform itself is it uses things like the artificial intelligence behind the scenes that when a user goes and creates those content items, it's now automating the feature of, oh, it's now required. You have to include the information in order to move forward. So setting it up and using it is very easy through the system and follows a straightforward user interface. You've heard me mention this once already, but the module builder. This is going to auto-generate not only user interfaces for you to maintain things like content, but it's also going to self-produce widgets, again, the back-end screens to maintain the content, and even code examples. So here we've defined out our own types of content. And again, the system is automating all the processes behind the scenes like any other good artificial intelligence would. So the intelligence here that is taking place is the fact that we know you need a few components in order to be successful with these types of things. And those components are, we need a widget to display it on the front end of the system. We need code examples or back-end screen tweaks. Maybe you want to modify or reorganize the information onto the screen. Or again, code references for your developers or maybe your partners who might be building out your particular pieces of content. So all these features, again, automated behind the scenes. So really all you have to do is be successful at designing out the things that you need to be successful in your particular business line. Again, widget templates are automated through this process of building something like a custom module. In our case, we could talk about something like a slider, which we might present on the home page as a rotating banners. Here's default templates. We often recommend you take these, you bring them down to your favorite source control provider. You then have full control over all the default templates and templating within the system. Also for developers, again, automating how you interact with content. So here we're highlighting a particular service that we designed that exposes our content really to any channel that you want. So a true omni-channel exposure to where it shows you exactly how to interact with a particular piece of content. So maybe we're building out a mobile application for our teams, and association members to log in and gather documents or the related press releases, whatever it might be. You can simply expose that information directly via these automated services. Here we're really going to get into the meat and the potatoes of the artificial intelligence. We've really been focusing on more automated features of the system, which in fact do use the general terminology of artificial intelligence. Now we're really going to focus on the customer journey. We're going to leverage a system that learns from the customer interactions, show you what you're doing right, and help you improve that, or show you where you can actually improve those steps. So within Sitefinity, we're going to begin tracking a numerous amount of interactions automatically for you. Things like forms being submitted, documents being downloaded. We understand that almost every industry has a particular need for tracking these, but definitely important in association management. Are users filling out a form to either contact us or gather more information about our offers or business processes? Are they downloading a document? These will all trigger on the URL side of things. So if you're using other systems like marketing automation platforms, we're still tracking it, no problem at all. You can simply expose those documents via a link, and we're going to know when users are interacting with them. Touchpoint Discovery, you're really never going to miss an important moment that's leading to a conversation. On average, there's about 10,000 potential touch points in a typical multi-channel environment, and many go unnoticed. So realistically here again, we're looking at interactions into the system. A touch point is an interaction that could or does lead to what we call a conversion. So look here on the left-hand side, you'll see something called conversion. We'll dive into that just a second. But discover, customer journey, discover the blind spots, optimize conversions using data-driven insights that spotlight every important customer interaction. Again, we're going to find these for you using machine learning and artificial intelligence. Each conversion tracking now comes with top touch points reports. You're going to include not only the already configured digital assets, but it's also going to show you some that you might not have discovered. So here again, we're highlighting restaurant mobile check-in. We're not tracking this. Maybe we should be, as it's leading to a number of conversions throughout our system. Keep in mind, though, it'll also help you track things like key performance indicators. You do need to know what those performance indicators are. So these things, still could go unnoticed if you don't know what the main performing points of your site are. Those performing points are generally configured in what we call our conversion tracking. Again, could be as simple as a form being submitted, users logging in, logging out. These are all interactions that the digital experience platform automatically tracks. Not only that, your key performance indicators might not be something that's directly within the CMS. So you can, of course, track mobile applications. You can track, third-party systems that users might be logging into, assuming that they can execute things like JavaScript or make HTTP calls. So lots of ways to get information about your user's journey. It will then be analyzed automatically by the Sitefinity Insight platform. From there, campaign tracking. So from that point of seeing touch points, what's happening, at some point you're going to want to know, well, can we improve this at all? And here's where a campaign could really show off how interactions might be happening before the campaign, during whatever the campaign target that you're running at that particular time, and what might be happening after. So with these three examples here over in the left-hand column here, we're showing which conversion we're trying to drive here, and then what the name of the campaign is, how many engaged visitors, how many of them might have converted in that particular time period. So these content campaigns, you're really going to build a targeted set of users. You can build these out manually, but as we go here a little bit further, you're going to notice from our recommendations engine that we can produce these for you as well. Anomaly detection. So between conversions and touch points, we realize that these are the most important components within your website. They're actually, for the most part, configured by you. Of course, the system is going to try to find them on your own, and you can opt into whether you want to track these components or not, or these conversions. Once you do so, the Sitefinity Insight platform will actually alert you of anomalies. These anomalies, you receive the alerts when a statistically significant deviation for conversations and touch points happen. This could be a positive or potentially a negative impact. So behind the scenes, we're again analyzing traffic, we're analyzing the interactions that they're having within the system, which conversions that they're completing, which ones that they're not, and if something is outside of a standard deviation, we're going to let you know. So if you take a look at a couple of these examples here on the left-hand side, you can see that the request a demo is up 50%. We're even going to mark it on the particular chart when we saw that deviation. Now you're going to slip back on your marketing analysis hat to say, okay, well, maybe we did something during that period of time. Oh yeah, we released that marketing automation, new system. We created new web pages focused around that. Maybe it was even personalization that you had built through the website that could be driving this particular uptick in either conversions, or again, we'll track touch points and let you know of any deviation. Again, it's going to insight your production data center and automatically send you notification emails. The deviations are identified by the analytics module for anomaly detection based on your prior data pattern. So again, it's looking at a previous period and saying, whoa, something's happened, again, either positive or negative impacts. And again, you'll get these email alerts, and it's not even irregularly scheduled. It's not like you're going to get them every Tuesday at 3 p.m. I worked in the analytics industry. I scheduled reports to my marketing teams for a long time. Every Tuesday, they got a report about the traffic. Well, about after the third or fourth month of doing that, they really had stopped looking at those particular things. So the actual benefit of the anomaly detection is you actually don't know when it's coming. So it's telling you in real time what's performing or maybe not performing in the system. So in my mind, it also reduces things like email fatigue of, oh, it's Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. again. Here's that visitor report. This keeps you engaged as a marketer, but also keeps you engaged as interacting with your particular customers, association members, or similar. So here again, just to highlight a few components here of that particular aspect. So I've mentioned this once already, but now let's dive really deep into some recommendations. So we're going to auto-generate campaign recommendations. So not only are you going to get a recommendation of, if we take a look at the top line here, it's going to say we can increase a particular conversion. In this case, the conversion is registration. As a reminder, the conversions are set up by you and your team. They are the key performance indicators of your site. They're the reason you built it. If you don't know what those things are, yep, might be time to reinvestigate your site plan and make a new one. At that point, once you have those key performance indicators, you configure them within the system, and it starts to perform its magic. That magic, again, is looking at things like the interactions that the users are having in the system. Again, as a reminder, we track a number of standard or high priority ones like form submissions, document downloads, logins, these types of operations. And then it analyzes the traffic, what users are doing, and will give you recommendations on how you might improve that particular point. So from these recommendations, so in this particular case on that first line there, we got about 42,000 visitors in that. We can get about, almost 4,000 more registrations in the next month if we perform the particular activity it's recommending. And what it's saying is if we get that group of users who aren't doing the certain set of activities to visit the personnel page, we're more likely to convert a register. We can actually then define a direct campaign off of that. It automatically segments out the users. And then really all I need to do is go apply what it's telling me to do within my site. I could do that with content personalization in Sitefinity or a number of different avenues to approach that as well. So here's a look at the audience segmentation that gets produced by the recommendation engine here. This recommendation or this audience segmentation is a campaign that we could define. So who to target in this particular case? Well, it's telling me that people who don't do the mobile restaurant check-in, this is who we should be targeting. And if we get those users who aren't performing this particular activity to head on over to that personnel page, so you can see down here at the bottom, again, we're going to get that 4,000 or potentially 4,000 more conversions in the next 30 days. So as we apply these again, I usually apply them through personalization in the site. Let's get them to do it. So maybe there's a few pages throughout the site, or in this case, doesn't look like we need to do anything on the mobile application because, well, they're not doing that particular activity. So again, maybe we're going throughout the site, adding personalizations, calls to actions, buttons to drive that particular user segment to this specific page. And again, the probability of doing it seems to be high in this particular case, so it's probably worth me trying. Now, if you don't like any of the recommendations that the system has, or you're like, it's not really applicable, you can always hide them. That way they're out of your visibility, and we're not going to keep, drilling that into the screen or recommending it to you as a course of action. You can always find it later, though, if you did want to revisit or bring it back into play. With the help of democratized AI services, we can boost the work of authors, marketers, so they can more efficiently publish best-of-class content. So what does this mean? Cognitive abilities enable a wealth of options for web content management systems, DXPs, these types of capabilities. So what we're going to focus on here is where the Sitefinity platform can help you grow your content, or maybe you can extend it further to help boost your marketing capabilities. So here we're going to show an example of an image that was uploaded. What we've done here is we've actually attached into Sitefinity. This is an add-on that's produced into our marketplace that can be downloaded and added to any Sitefinity system. But as you take a look at it, though, we uploaded this particular image here. This image, as it was uploaded, it gave us some alternate text. So this is using the Azure Vision service. This then says, well, the alt text is probably a little boy standing in some grass. That's probably a pretty close guess based on the image here. I happen to know they're standing in a field, so maybe I'll change a couple specific things. But for the most part, this gives me, as a team, most of what I need. It'll even tag the content for us as well. So it's a person, it's outdoor, it's grass, it's clothing, and give us the capabilities that we need. Together, these services boost, the quality of the content, save significant amounts of time. The cognitive services module example, sends every image that vision service checks if it's inappropriate content and generates this metadata for you. So again, really looking at how to improve the everyday life cycles of your content. Is the content appropriate? Is the content tagged? Tagging not only benefits you as the business team or the content creators, but it also benefits the users from the front end perspective, as you could expose these tags for them to help filter content as well, whether that's images, news content, whatever it might be. As we look a little bit deeper into some of the services that we could also provide with artificial intelligence, is we could produce, categorization about text content as well. Maybe we want to, so down here at the bottom, we're suggesting this is a business category. This is actually using another service. Azure has a similar service, just happened to pick a different one for this, using MonkeyLearn to help us identify the content on the page, or in this case, we're working on a news article, and giving us, is the sentiment of the article, is it a negative sentiment or a positive? Actually, in this case, it happens to be negative. So maybe we want to sort of restructure the focus of the article to be of more a positive light. Suggested summary that we can immediately add directly to the piece of content. And we call these hashtags, it's just a matter of a label here, but these really would be tags, keywords, those types of things that we could apply about this particular piece of content. So these cognitive services can, again, directly help you with analyzing your content. Is it positive? Is it negative? I mean, there's even more features to just this. This was just scratching the basic surface of the artificial intelligence capabilities that are out, in the world today. And again, all these services that are available are very easily integrated into platforms like Sitefinity. So as we really bring it to a close here, leveraging automation and AI has enabled Sitefinity to lighten the workload of content creators, marketers, and developers. Today we've seen a number of examples of how Sitefinity uses automation and artificial intelligence, machine learning, again, to lighten the workload for content creators, association managers, whether it's onboarding of content, analyzing the content, personalizing the content, or even as far as getting recommendations on how you might improve engagement into content, are all great ways that the Sitefinity digital experience platform can help you utilize these complex processes through an easy to use system. And we have a few links here that you can follow up and try some things out, and let us know, you know, what you think. Thank you all.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, no problem. Were there any questions?
Appreciate your time today.
Frank? Yeah, no problem. I wasn't really watching very closely the Q&A.
We do have one that just came in.
Great.
Hold on one second. Let me get back over here. So one of our attendees said, I love the idea of knowing what tone my content gives.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other additional sentiment tools that we can start using today if we're not using Sitefinity?
Yeah, so, well, in that particular case, yeah, I was using a third-party API, and really what we were showcasing there was the fact of how easy it is to get that type of capabilities in Sitefinity. So yeah, Azure has a number of services. The one I showed off there was called Monkey Learn. But yes, there are plenty of text analytic or analyzation type of SaaS-based offerings and you know, downloadable ones or developer-based ones as well. But yeah, there are lots of options out there, free as well as paid.
Great, thank you.
Megan?
Yes?
This is Lauren with Brightfine. I love the sentiment tool, and so I can really tell my tone. Another one that you might want to think about is called Sentiment Analyzer, and all you do is copy the text that you want to analyze, put it in their sentiment analyst box, and you will get a sentiment score. There is one for social media called Quick Search, which can tell you exactly how people feel about your social media accounts. And also, if your organization gets a lot of press, a lot of news, you can try something called Critical Mention, and that will actually analyze your name and news and other publications that reflect your business. So those were Sentiment Analyzer, Quick Search, and Critical Mention, and as well as Grammarly, which Najee mentioned earlier today.
Perfect. That's great. If we have any other questions for Sitefinity, feel free to pop them in the window.